Konnichiwa,
Aloha,
Stickies!
Stickies! Welcome back to another fun episode of the Stick with Kaji Podcast. I'm Luann.
And I'm Sean. You guys may have
and
noticed.
Today...
Oh, sorry. You guys may have noticed that we're in a different location. Luann, by the way, Luann, great background. I like that the gaming room. Nice.
Thank you. Ryan and I set it up a couple days ago. It's like his new gaming pad, I guess, underneath the stairs. So I thought it was kind of fun setup. And where are you?
Yeah.
Sean, may I ask?
You guys may have noticed that I started out with Konnichiwa Stickies today, right? So that was a hint. I'm actually in Japan. Konnichiwa, guys.
Happy that you're in Japan, but sad because you're not here with me.
I know.
What are you doing in Japan?
I'm actually here for business, so I have a bunch of business meetings next week, not this week, and there's a reason why. I was here since 4 days ago, and I haven't been really going out. And in this episode, I'll tell you guys all about just what's it like to come to Japan right now during COVID.
Sean left about 4 days ago, and I know where he's at and why, but I wanted him to tell you the story from the very beginning. So take us all the way from the beginning of, when you got to the airport.
So I flew from Honolulu airport and arriving at Narita airport, about 1 hour away from central Tokyo area. So as soon as you arrive, you have to go through this special gate because you're international entrance. So they won't just let you go through custom just yet. Typically, before COVID, you arrive in a foreign country, you go through custom, they check your passport, and then they tell you you're free to go. During the COVID, especially in Japan, it's different. So I arrived in Narita airport, and they line us up, everybody from from our plane, which is only like 10 people. Only 10 people from our airplane, the giant airplane, came to Japan. So we all lined up, and we have to go through this 10 different checkpoints. Before we even go to custom, do a lot of paperwork you have to sign because there are a lot of regulations that you have to follow if you're an international traveler or if you're coming from foreign countries. And then you have to sign this paperwork saying, "Oh, I comply with all these regulations." Like mandatory 3 days quarantine once you arrive, and then after that, 4 extra days self quarantine at the wherever the hotel or your house. You have to do self quarantine for 4 days after that 3 days of the mandatory one. Anyway, so I had to sign that, and they have to install certain apps onto my phone where it tracks my GPS location during the quarantine period, which is a little bit scary. And in the same app, they also could video call me. The Japanese government can call me, the video call me, just make sure I don't leave my phone and then just be out of here. So they also randomly call each day through this app, just video call and make sure I'm staying inside the room. So all those things that they did, that installing the phone and do the paperwork, and after a few hours, I was finally be able to take a COVID test.
But even before you got there, right, you had to take the COVID test before you even got to the airport.
That's right. So this...
Right, already.
Right. This past 4 days, total, I tested 3 times. So before you enter, before you even fly from Honolulu, within 72 hours, you have to take PCR test. And I was negative. And that's fine. So that meet the criteria to be on board on the airplane to Japan. Once I arrive, the Japanese government have to conduct another PCR test to any arrivals from the international countries. So which I did. And they made us wait for 5 hours until the test result comes up.
So you stayed at the airport for 5 hours waiting for your results, right?
I'd say like 6 or 7 hours.
That's not including the flight time. So the flight time from Honolulu to Tokyo was how long?
It was about like 9 to 10 hours.
So on top of that, you stayed an additional 5 to 6 hours at the airport waiting to get your results.
Right. And it's crazy because you have to wait for the test to come back, and I didn't know the test takes that long to show the results.
Yeah.
And you typically consider yourself entering the country not when you arrive. The airplane
Right.
arrived at the airport. When you go through the custom, once you finally pass the custom, you technically consider you entering the country. So until then, I had to take a test and I had to wait for the results, and then I was able to go to custom. So this whole 7 hours of waiting for the test to come back, I wasn't in Japan. I don't know where that was. I guess I consider still in US, but I was almost crying.
Did you get to eat?
I didn't get to eat.
Did they let you eat anything?
They don't really provide any food. They don't provide drinks. There's no vending machines in the area that we were supposed to wait. There's a restroom.
No vending machine of.
Yeah, there's no vending
What
machine.
if you get thirsty?
That's why.
Nothing.
That's why you should prepare it. The restroom is available, so if you really come down to the line, maybe you can just drink the tap water. But it was rough. And it was rough for me. And I'm 33 years old, and it was rough for me. And I see a whole bunch of little kids just crying, just waiting.
Oh, how do they even go through that? That's amazing. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this one mom, just taking care of 3 little kids.
By herself?
Yes, by herself.
Super mom, am I right?
Right.
So once you got your results and it's negative at the airport, then what?
Then they gather a small group of people and put us into the bus. We know that they're transporting us to a facility that we stay for mandatory quarantine, but they don't tell me like where it's heading to, which area that quarantine location is, until I start driving. Which was kind of scary. Kind of give me like a kind of battle royale kind of vibe.
Oh,
right?
that's scary.
Yeah, just put in the bus and then just don't even know where it's going. Well, after they start taking us, it tells me that we're going to the Ikebukuro, a little central side of Tokyo. So it's about like an hour, a little bit over an hour drive from Narita Airport. So we go all the way to the Ikebukuro. The problem is, for everybody, after they've complete the 3 days of mandatory quarantine, they have to go back to Narita Airport to be dismissed. No matter where you're dispatched to, you still have to go back to the original airport and then be dismissed, and then you can go to the next hotel that you made a reservation.
So let's talk about that 3 days that you were there, before we jump to the next part.
So once I got to the hotel, they won't even let us admit it. So we had to wait in the line. They wanted us to be all 6 feet apart, so everybody is waiting on the line. I was surprised everybody fully equipped with the suit to make sure there's no, they don't get COVID. So it was, I feel like we have a serious disease or I don't know.
Hey, maybe you do. They want to make sure, okay? If you're entering a country, right? And so they want to make sure that you're not bringing anything bad into their country. So I get it, but yeah.
And I was surprised how many people were working on this. Even at the airport, too, there are hundreds and hundreds of people working. That's outside of the airport business, right? All this, the quarantine process is outside of the operation of the airport, and there are so many people just working just for that. So I was just surprised how much government money is put into it. And then I guess that's to make sure maintain the safety for people in Japan. It makes sense, and I really appreciate for those people working there. But yeah, I was surprised how big the operation is for the quarantine at the airport and at the hotel too. So going back to the hotel, even hotel too, it's a big operation. It's a lot of people just admitting us and helping us to stay of this quarantine hotel. So this hotel is shut down just so they can open for to admit the international arrival people.
Right.
So every single person who's staying at this hotel is people coming from foreign countries. They escort me to the room after they look through my paperwork, and my room was really tiny.
Well, they're trying to conserve space, I guess. But this is an actual hotel, right? You told me this is an actual hotel where if it weren't meant for quarantine, somebody would have stayed there as their hotel room.
Yeah, and it's fine. I think the size is decent for a business hotel, and I wouldn't complain. But the problem is the mandatory quarantine during that period, you're not supposed to get out of your hotel room. You cannot even go anywhere in a hotel facility either. You have to stay in your hotel room. So that was really killing me for that 3 days.
So tell them about the food that they gave you on that night. I think that's funny.
Yeah. So the time. So by the time we got to the hotel, it was kind of past midnight, right? And at that point, I haven't eaten any food for 10 hours. So I was so hungry. I keep asking people who's working at the airport, are we going to get the food? I'm very hungry. So I keep asking them, yes, you get some food. I think this is some food.
Some food.
I already kind of getting the vibe that it's not going great, but they told me some food is
Yeah.
will be provided for the first night. So once I got there, they gave me cup noodle. And I don't want to sound unappreciative, but just
Yes.
hear me out. I was without food for 10 hours, and then getting the one cup noodle is, yeah. I have to ask again. Is this it?
To be fair, you don't have any other option, right? You can only, I mean, by then it was already late at night, so it's not as if you can get Uber Eats or anything. That was your only option
Right.
at that moment.
Yeah, I'll get to the Uber Eats too. There's so many restrictions when you order from Uber Eats at that location. It's almost impossible to order. And, it's late at night, and, for the people who's waiting, who's working at the hotel, they don't know when we're arriving, right? The test results always just takes time, and then it varies, people to people. So they don't know when, the new people coming into the hotel. So that's why they only can prepare cup noodle for the first day. But yeah, it was shocking to me, just because that's the only information you have. Like, what's the experience gonna be for the next 3 days? So I was afraid that's all I'm gonna get every single day was just cup noodle. So I almost started crying.
Hey, we survived in college through cup noodles, so.
I actually ended up not eating that cup noodle.
Wait, you didn't eat at all?
No, I just went to bed because I was tired, and also I was like, I don't know what the next day food is going to be. So I was like, I'm gonna conserve this.
Just in case. Okay, so tell me about what's it like, because when you got there, right, you said the first destination was the hotel where you had to be quarantined for 3 days, right, with no contact to the outside world. You can't go outside for anything. Tell me what life was like in that a little room that you had for those first 3 days.
Well, I felt so lonely and disconnected, and it just almost felt like I'm sure it's a lot better environment, but almost feel a little bit imprisoned because I cannot go out. I cannot be anywhere that I want. I only can be free within that small room. So I don't know, I feel like I trapped a little bit just for that 3 days. Hey guys, so I'm at this quarantine hotel the Japanese government prepared for me. I was staying here for 3 days. This is the third day, so I'm actually getting out after lunch today, if the test comes negative, hopefully. So yeah, I'll show you my room. And that's my desk where I work or I just play game. That's my bed.
But I remember you had a window though, right?
Yeah, we had a window and we had a great view, right? So I had a great view. I was like a 32nd floor, so I was able to see the view of Tokyo, and it was great. But we cannot open the window. So I was just like kind of looking at the window just to see what people is doing. But I couldn't breathe the fresh air. And it makes sense, right? And all the food too. They have a scheduled food delivery time. The hotel provide the food. So in the morning, 8 o'clock, they provide breakfast. And during lunchtime, 12 o'clock, noon, they provide lunch. And then nighttime, 6 o'clock, they do dinner. And they put bento box in front of the door of each of our room. And after the placement of the food is complete for all the floors, they make an announcement. Say, you are free to open the door right away and close right away after you grab your food. So that's what I did. And those are the 3 highlights of my day. That's the only thing that I feel connected with the outside world is getting that food.
That moment where you get to open it a little bit and grab your food and then come back in right away. Did you happen to see any of your neighbors when you opened the door to grab your food?
No.
Aww.
I don't have a cellmate.
What did you do for entertainment those 3 days?
So there's TV, right? There's TV in the room. So I watch TV, and I have computers and I have a Wi-Fi too. So I just I worked and I watched some Netflix. And it's interesting. What Netflix, it detects your geographic location. So the selection of Netflix is different from when you're in the US. So I was kind of enjoying all the different new content that I never seen when I was in the US. So I was doing that too. And what else did I do? Oh, this sounds crazy. This is second day, third day kind of thing. But I was kind of I was kind of on the edge that I was still stuck in the one room. So what I started doing on my computer is a little creepy. It's weird, but I go on the Google map and look at the surrounding of where I am. I just move the cursor and I'm just trying to visualize while I'm looking at the map that I'm walking outside. On the map, it shows, oh, this is a sushi store here, a restaurant here, oh, and a convenience store here, clothing store. So I just slowly just move it, and then just in my head, I just visualizing myself walking around.
So you were trying to visualize, oh, what is it like if I was walking down this street? Or what is it like if I was eating this sushi?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know this. I knew you told me that you were playing Wii Fit. You brought the Wii Fit with you.
Well, it's modern age now, so it's a Ring Fit, but...
Ring Fit. I'm so sorry.
I did bring a Ring Fit and a Nintendo Switch, so I was able to exercise, even if it's a small room, because you exercise with that small ring. So I was able to do the workout. But, because I'm not walking around, I look at my phone, and the phone usually tracks how many steps you do each day. I usually accumulate 10,000 steps or more while we're in Hawaii. My step counter was showing 200 steps in one day on my first day. And I got so scared. I was like, oh my God, this is not great. So I started walking around from one side of the room to the other side, back and forth. It's not that big, but I keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. And at the end of the day, on the second day, I was able to accumulate 10,000.
That's really impressive for being just in a small space. But if you were to guess, how many steps would it take from one side of the room to the other side of the room?
Good question. I would say probably like 15 steps or 20 steps.
15 steps.
So do the math, how many laps I've done.
Right. Again, right? I'm sure you're very appreciative because of the quarantine situation. You're able to enter the country, so.
And the bento too, you don't know, Loen, but I mean it's normal in Japan for the bento to have the cold rice, right? Because not everybody eat with a microwave. Like especially like a student, they don't have a microwave in classroom. So when they bring a bento box, rice is usually cold. My bento is like that too. And living in the U.S.
Is it cold and hard rice
no, not
or
hard.
just cold rice?
Just cold.
Okay.
So it's still fine, but I guess growing up in the U.S. and I always get the fresh cooked rice. It was so hard for me to eat those rice. I'm not used to it. So I was like almost crying. I was like, this is not the way I eat rice. So it's hard. But yeah, I survived.
Well, at least you made it 3 days.
Yay!
You're out. But that was 3 days mandatory quarantine in a facility that they choose, right? But then after 3 days, you get to go to a place where you choose. So in total, how many days of quarantines do you have to do?
I have 7.
A week, right?
Yeah, I have 7 days total.
So you're on day 4.
Right. And here it's easier. But sorry, going back to the 3rd day, when we're getting out from the hotel, it was tough because I'm already in Tokyo and I have to go outside of Tokyo back to the airport again to get dispatched and coming back here. So I spent 1 hour going to the airport and exact same amount driving back here. But from airport, so we were dispatched. They provide the bus transportation for those people who stay at the hotel back to the airport, right? And then you're dismissed. And then you just right away, you're supposed to go to the next hotel that you made a reservation of. You cannot use any public transportation from airport to your new location. So that's the tricky part.
Right.
Because a lot of times, people take Narita Express, which is the subway from airport to back to the central Tokyo, or people take taxi. It's expensive, but people take that taxi too. Those two are considered public transportation, and bus too.
Right.
So you're not supposed to take any of those transportation. The only thing you're left is either you drive yourself, or get a rental car, or hire the special service car that's only serving you for that day. So I had to get that.
Right. Only you that day?
I think, because I never drove in Japan, and especially in Tokyo, it looks scary to drive. So
I remember on the 3rd day, you said that you had to take a COVID test too, right? Even before they even let you leave.
That's right, and good thing I was negative. But yeah, so they wake us up around 6 o'clock in the morning and take a test, and so whoever gets the test result earlier, they can start going to the airport. There were about 200 people being dispatched from the mandatory quarantine hotel to the airport that day. So yeah, there are a lot of people staying in that hotel, and especially a whole bunch of people came back on the same timing. So when I came to Japan, it was still during the Olympic, right? But it's just completed it. They just finished the Olympic, and all these Olympians also came back around similar timing too. I'm suspecting some of those Olympians also staying at the same hotel.
Yeah. Oh, where you were?
Yeah.
That's cool. So now that you're at this new hotel, you have to do additional 4 days there. What is it like so far?
It's good. Yeah.
It's better, right? Because you're able to go out a little bit, right? And not just confined to that room.
Right. So they told us not to have close contact with anybody. What they mean by that is like within 6 feet for longer than 15 minutes of duration. So you could go to grocery store because you need to get food for yourself to sustain for next 4 days. So I went to convenience store and I went to supermarket and to buy groceries. And luckily this hotel that I made a reservation, there's kitchens and fridge and microwave. So I was able to stock up a little bit. For just to stay healthy, you can also go outside when not many people are out there. So I go outside like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and walk around a little bit for like 30 minutes, 1 hour, and then come back.
That's good. At least you get some exercise in.
Yeah. And actually, it's kind of interesting to see Tokyo, like an empty Tokyo, right? At 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, there aren't many people. Like almost nobody. The only crazy person would go outside around 4 or 5 o'clock on a weekday. So I was kind of taking some pictures as I was walking around, just seeing the Tokyo in different perspective.
So you also mentioned you can order Uber Eats, right? And you said there was restrictions.
At the mandatory hotel, yes, there's a restriction on the list of things that you cannot order from Uber Eats. They say you're allowed to get the Uber Eats, but then you cannot get any bento, any onigiri, no rice ball, and no hamburger, no sandwich, no ice cream.
No ice cream?
Yeah, nothing that needs to be refrigerated.
I see. Well, what is their reasoning on, like, what's wrong with hamburgers, for example?
So those things that, from the restaurant, it has very short expiration time, right? And maybe you get food poisoning because they don't know, the hotel don't know when they can bring it from the front to your hotel room. Depending on if they're busy, then it might take until the end of the day for you to receive it, and then it's kind of health risk. If you do the Uber delivery, they deliver to the front, and then they open it and make sure we didn't order anything that was not really prohibited, and then they'll bring it to the room.
Yeah. Okay, so what can you order? It sounds very restrictive.
I know. I guess
because everything has a short lifespan.
Right, I know. They had a whole list, right? And then they say etc. So I'm trying to just think about what would it be? Okay, I order canned food, right? And I also
oh my gosh,
I also order some yakitori. I don't know if you guys know, yakitori is like a chicken meat on a stick, but it wasn't on the list, so that's why I took a risk. I'd rather just pay and then take a risk and eat yakitori.
So as long as you just get something that is not on the list, it is okay.
For me, it was okay, but I'm sure they still probably just tell you not to do that next time or something. But I was like, I better just do it and try it and then just say sorry later on. I was on edge.
But they open it, right? You said they open it to make sure that it was okay. So I'm assuming it's okay if you're able to get the food.
Yeah, and then I ordered some breads too, like those pastry breads, and it was okay too. And then some drinks. So at the hotel, they only serve a bottle of water, which is good. But sometimes I want to drink coffee in the morning, or tea or Diet Coke. I have no access to those, so I have to order those from Uber Eats too. So after I get a hang of it on the first day, I was like, oh, they don't tell me that it's bad or anything. So I start ordering more, and then there's a point like, hey, please just scale back on your ordering.
Because they, in their defense, they already providing you food, right?
Right,
though it might not be to your liking, but. So now that you're in the second hotel, it's less restrictive, right? You can order as much Uber Eats as you want, right? You can go out a little bit for exercise. So it's a little better, right? You don't feel so trapped, enclosed in your hotel room. So that's good.
And
then you mentioned that every day the government calls you.
Self-quarantine, then, I'm sure many people follow the rule, but maybe some of them may not. So in order for government to make sure people complying those regulation is through this app. They track your GPS location, and also they randomly video call you throughout the day. So I get like 2 or 3 video calls
A day?
each day. One in the morning and some in the afternoon, and then evening I get a call too. And all it does is just get a call, and then they just video record you for 30 seconds.
Video record you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to show them your location. You're like, hey, I'm here in my hotel room. Nothing suspicious going on.
No, I don't know.
What do you
I don't know
mean?
if I have to show it around. I just put just like this. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. Oh, now I have to hold on. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Sorry, the government is just asking me to provide you my current location. They don't really record your location each time, right? So you have to press the button on this app to send your location to the government. And they send this request like 4 or 5 times a day.
I see.
And
In
you have 5
addition
minutes
to
reply.
the video?
In addition to video call, yeah.
Oh, wow. Got it. And when they give you notification saying, hey, send us your location, and you press a button, how long do you get before they start, calling you, whatever?
You have 5 minutes allowance time to respond.
Got it. Okay.
If you miss it, you cannot send information. You just consider you missed their request.
Oh, and how many missed requests can you do? Do you know?
I'm not sure. And then, if anybody know, then people's gonna start taking advantage of it. Right? Like, okay, I'm gonna miss this many, and I'll still be okay. So.
Yeah. No, you should always follow the rules. So especially when somebody's letting you into their country.
And I heard somebody I know, when she went to Japan, and she missed a few calls from the government, and then somebody from the government came to her self-quarantine location.
What if you're in the restroom when they're calling?
I have to admit, when I was doing number 2, I got the video call, so I didn't want to miss it, and I was still in the process of it too. So my TMI, so I had to just tilt it up and then
Oh my gosh.
cover up the microphone, and then I still do the 30 second.
I mean, they gotta, let you have some leeway. What if you just can't pick up because of situation like that? Because there's no way to call them back, right? They can only call you. You can't be like, sorry, I was doing number 2, right? You can't do that.
I'll probably have a better explanation than that. Yes. Yeah. You cannot call back.
Oh, I see. That is quarantine life for Sean. Would you do it again?
Do you think you can do it if you or me?
Yeah, I think I can do it. I don't mind, to be honest. And, I'm a very introvert. I think I can just stay in the room, and it's a good chance for me to catch up on reading or catch up on my favorite Netflix show. I think I can. And plus, if you guys watched my other previous episode, I was really into gaming, and I was gaming all day and night when I was in high school and college, and I didn't leave my seat at all, all day and night. So I think I can do it. Now my question is,
you think so, right?
Yeah.
I thought so too, first. I was like, I guess it'd be fun. But after first day, I started going crazy. So
okay,
I
would
think
you do it
gets you
again?
only first couple of days. No. No, I don't want to do it.
And tell them which part sucks, because you had went there and you have to do this 1 week quarantine, right? And remember the day before you left, the government announced that starting in the beginning of March, quarantine is over. Right?
Yeah, for certain countries, yeah.
But that country applies to us, though. That country applies. So if you would have left a week later, you wouldn't have to do quarantine.
I think I may have self-quarantine. I don't know. They're still vague, and I'm not sure what the criteria is. But there may be some self-quarantine, but not mandatory quarantine anymore.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But then one of the requirements is you have to have a booster shot.
Right, I see. Yeah, but you planned so much already. You just thought might as well just get it out of the way, Right.
Yeah, because I set up a lot of meetings, right? And then, just so you guys know, I actually previously trying to come to Japan last November. And then I
Right.
had a lot of meetings set up too. And then in last minute, government extended the quarantine time for international arrivals, and I ended up canceling it.
Right.
I just didn't want to cancel again. Just people's not gonna try to set up the a meeting with me anymore after that point. So I was like,
Right.
I gotta come.
So can you tell us a little bit why you're there? I know it's meeting, but anything exciting happening in this meeting? I don't know why I keep using air quotes. Any
I
spoilers?
can't say
Anything?
any of those things.
So, okay, sorry guys, Sean. Can't say any of those things. But it's for
I'm trying to
Ryan's
think of
World.
it. Yeah, it's for Ryan's World. Some of the stuff is even the new project. It's a little bit outside of Ryan's World too, but it's something the kids would love, right? But it's a lot of already a big project that it's for next year or for 2 years.
Right.
You can't really say anything. I'm sorry.
But you have to go
But
there
it's
in
a lot of
person,
animations.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because we want to start some new projects, and it's a little bit scary for me to start working with teams or companies who I never met or who I never been. But then there are a lot of projects that during the COVID that we started, and we started out without me being to in the studio, and it was still great. But now I have opportunity to come here. I'd rather come here and see in person in my eye. Yeah, because just right now it's the beginning of the year. I really wanted to get it done before the move too far in this year. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we have lots of fun projects coming up for you guys. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah,
So-
mostly animations.
Sorry about our chopstick situation. Forgot to mention. Forgot to bring the giant chopstick again. And there's no way Sean was going to pack the giant chopstick. So, and you know what sucks too? These are just a disposable kind that they give you when you order at the restaurant. So sorry.
Well, same for me. I think the next episode should be like your point of view, like life of the 1 week of Luann without Sean.
What do you mean? I had a blast without you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I
taking care of
missed you
3
a
kids is hard.
lot. I missed you a lot, of course. But yeah, I don't know if there's much content for me to do a whole episode on. I mean, I pretty much just
Okay.
took care of them. And it just so happens to fall on a 4-day weekend, right? So we did a lot of activities together, which is really fun. But anybody who took care of 3 kids, it's also exhausting, but fun. I'm so happy they're home with me. I just wish you were home with us, to hang out with us and helping me.
FYI, I didn't know about those 4 days the weekend before I planned all this trip. It was coincidence.
But it's okay. They're back at school, so I'm able to do this podcast today because they went back to school today. So I'm doing this podcast, and I have a lot of laundry to catch up on, lots of work to do. But I feel like the days are going really slow without you, so I'm counting down the days until you return, which is a lot more days. So.
Yeah, I thought I've been here already for a week, but hasn't been even yet. So.
No, you're gone for 5 days pretty much. So so before we end the video of what's it like, right? Life in quarantine in Japan with Sean. Let's do the sticky word of the day, which is I thought maybe quarantine. We haven't done the word quarantine yet. How do you guys say it in Japanese?
You know what's funny? I was thinking about quarantine for the sticky word of the day too.
Really?
The exact same word. Yeah.
We think alike. Wow. Telepathic?
Oh, well, we know each other for 10 years. I think it's natural.
Okay, so how do you say it in Japanese, quarantine?
Kakuri.
So it starts with a K, kind of the K sound.
Yeah. Kaku.
Kaku?
Kakuri.
Kakuri.
Yeah, that's right.
Kakuri? Kakuri.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And let's just hope we don't use that in Japan anymore.
Hopefully it's over for good after the end of next week for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you say quarantine in Vietnamese? It's 2 words. It's gat ly. Gat ly.
Got late.
Gat ly. So that is it. Let us know your thoughts and feelings, and if you're able to do quarantine with Sean. He couldn't do it apparently, so 3 days was too much.
I did it.
I mean, you had no choice. I mean, you can't say. Can you say after 2 days, right? You're going crazy. Can you say, I changed my mind, take me back to the U.S.? You think that could happen?
Maybe. I'm sure some people are trying to get out of it. You know, I complained about 3 days, right? Just
Yeah.
not a few weeks. Until a few weeks ago, it was 6 days mandatory quarantine.
And then after that, do you have to do more
It's one-
quarantine days?
After that, it's one self-quarantine.
Got
One day
it.
of self-quarantine.
Got it. But I remember a while
I'd much
back.
rather take this.
But I remember a while back, you said it was 2 weeks of quarantine, right? Or not? Was there ever been 2
Yeah,
weeks?
yeah, yeah. A long time ago, it was 2 weeks, and then it's reduced to 10 days, and now it's 7 days total, combining self and mandatory and self.
Got it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching our exciting, right? Tell me it's exciting episode of the Stick with Kaji podcast, where we listen to Sean on his quarantine life. Any last thoughts, Sean, before we end the video?
No, let me out of here.
Wait, do you have a nice view in this hotel?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I see other buildings.
Oh, got it.
I see the window of other buildings, so
Got
no.
it. But the hotel you're at right now, just to be clear, it is not a quarantine hotel. It's just a regular hotel. Because after the 3 days mandatory quarantine, you can quarantine at any place that you wish, like any other hotel you wish. Or I think you mentioned too that if you have family, you can stay in quarantine with them, right? Or no?
Yeah. You can stay at your house. That's fine.
Got it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this Stick with Kaji episode. And I forgot to mention, you can follow me on Instagram here at Loanne Kaji. And then you can also listen to us, right, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Okay, let us know your thoughts and feelings. For now, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day.
Bye.
Bye, Stickies.